Somebody told me that they had a dream, and in this dream they met Satan. They signed a deal with Satan because of an offer that they proposed to them. And part of this deal was that Satan put an etching in their arm, put a symbol in their arm. And when they woke up, that symbol was actually there in their forearm, in their skin. How could this be possible? Well, welcome to the channel. My name is Jesse Lyon. I'm a dream interpreter, certified trauma hypnotherapist, and a licensed mental health counselor. And this may sound weird to you and may sound like proof of metaphysics, astral planes, and spirituality, but I would strongly disagree because science has given us the answers that we don't have to make up anymore. And so I'm going to take you along on a little journey with me with everything that's going on. So here's my channel, right? Hopefully you can see this. Maybe I'll have to scoot this over, but I want to draw your attention to this side of the screen over here. Jojo over on TikTok says, how about me dreaming about signing a deal with Satan and he was drawing in my arm? How is that possible? I said, wait, how did you wake up with a symbol on your arm that you didn't go to bed with? Is someone in your house? I'm like, let's eliminate the physical possibilities here. Jojo says, I just went to sleep, dreamt about him doing that symbol in my arm and woke up to it. I was all alone at home, so I don't know. 2 crying face emojis. I said, bruh, I have no idea how the symbol got on your arm. Did it stay there forever or did it disappear later? And this is my hunch. The reason I asked that question is there is something called hypnopompic and hypnagogic hallucinations. Very common, usually happens during episodes of sleep paralysis, but it can also happen outside of sleep paralysis. What the hell am I talking about? I will explain. Here's what happens. When you go to sleep, your brain enters into a subconscious dream state. Now, normally, as you start to wake up, your body starts to wake up too. But sometimes your eyes can open and you can start to move around without fully exiting the dream state. Have you ever had a weird time where you went to the bathroom, like in the middle of the night, or maybe you woke up to go get a sip of water or something? You're not fully awake. And you know that because it feels weird. You feel like you're just kind of drifting through the house, stumbling over things, stubbing your toe. Hopefully not. And then you go back to bed. And it's easier to go back to bed, hopefully. I know my narcoleptics out there are going to be struggling with me because your brain never exits the dream state. It takes a few minutes for you to fully wake up. And anybody who's had to wake up on a Monday morning knows that for sure. But here's what can happen. You can see those dreams, even though your eyes are open. Now, typically, like I said, this happens with sleep paralysis. You'll usually be paralyzed because while you're dreaming, your body is also paralyzed. But sometimes your eyes are open and you're moving and you're still dreaming. But those dream projections, because your eyes are not closed, are being projected on your waking world. And so if this individual had a dream about doing a deal with Satan and they look down at their arm, their mind is hallucinating that symbol, that image on their arm. Now, I guarantee you it didn't stay. There's no way. It doesn't make any logical sense. But the mind is a powerful thing and can often see things that aren't there from the emotional side of ourselves, especially when we're in a hallucinated state. Now, there's other evidence of this too. When we're very stressed or dealing with trauma, we experience dissociations, paranoid delusions, right? And one great evidence of this is just how unreliable eyewitness reports are. If you look up the research about eyewitness reports, they're notoriously wrong. They'll say there was a guy with brown shorts and a black shirt who was mugging the convenience store. Well, it turns out the guy with blue jeans and a red shirt, and, it wasn't a convenience store. It was actually a gas station, right? Or something like that. You get what I'm saying? When we are highly emotional, the brain does not prioritize strict data. It prioritizes the emotions, right? If I'm scared, I'm seeing scared. I don't care about the details. I just need to run or fight. And so that's why these eyewitness reports are wrong. And so when you go to sleep, you have a very intense dream, like doing a deal with Satan. When you wake up, you're going to look at your arm and it's going to have some of these similar type of emotionally fueled things that aren't literally there, but emotionally are there. So maybe you're asking a question. You're like, listen, hey, poor Jojo, right? What's going on with her? Why is she dreaming about Satan? Maybe you've had a similar dream. And it's like, well, what does it actually mean? Dreams about Satan can be about sabotage in our life, right? Like what's the devil trying to mix up or mess up in our life? But I often find that more of the time, it's about that part of ourselves. You see, one of the classic rules of dream interpretation is that every part of the dream is a representation of a part of you. And when we think about evil, when we think about Satan, those are usually the shadow parts of ourselves. Now, it's a Jungian psychoanalytic term, but what it means is it's all the parts of ourselves that we have felt guilty for, ashamed of, that we don't appreciate, that we try and hide. And so this usually starts to happen when we're very small. When we're little, we're maybe a loud, rambunctious little toddler, and we're yelling and having a great time. And then mom or dad comes over and scolds us and says, "You're being too loud. You're being disruptive." That little child cuts off that part of themselves and is like, "Oh, my excitement is too much. It's not appreciated. If I want to be loved by my parents, I got to cut that part off of myself and hide it. Next time that I'm very excited, hide that excitement." Parents don't like that. Adults don't like that. And if I want to be loved and safe, I have to hide that part of myself. Psychologically, that turns into a representation of Satan. And so my hunch would be, now listen, not mental health diagnosis, not counseling information. This is just for entertainment and education. But my hunch would be is that JoJo is struggling to accept a part of herself. And she's trying to make a deal. She's trying to broker a deal with this shadow part of herself. It's like, well, if you just hide in the shadows and, don't cause too much fuss, I'll do this for you, right? Making a deal with the devil. Maybe that's our aggressive instincts. Maybe that's our jealousy we're trying to make a deal with. Maybe that's our sexual desires that we feel guilty and ashamed of. So she's trying to make a deal. And part of that deal is she has to etch this symbol into her arm. Now, tattoos, etchings, especially on the body, are a sign for identity. And so JoJo, I would imagine, is struggling with accepting these parts of herself and how it's affecting her identity. Now I have this mark on me because that part of you that you cut away and are ashamed of never goes away. It's going to mark your identity. And so there's a struggle about how do I accept my identity? How do I integrate these parts of myself that I've been shamed for into my life? I don't think there was actually a symbol. I haven't gotten a response. It's been a day since we had this conversation. We were back and forth in the DMs, in the comment section. But there's no way. I've got a hunch. Now, the question is, though, have you had a similar experience? Please do me a favor. It helps the algorithm the most if you share this video with a friend. So hit that share button, subscribe to the channel, and let somebody who's struggling with their dreams know that there's help. There's help for you, and I'm here to answer the questions. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.